You're listening to the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. I'm Allison Boyle, aka She Dreams of Alpine, and this is the show that's dedicated to all the adventurous spirits out there who have either been transformed by the outdoors or are interested in what it looks like to step into a new, adventurous, and courageous kind of identity in their life. It doesn't matter what your background is in the outdoors, what age you're starting at, or where you grew up. If you're curious about the outdoors and using adventure as a way to reinvent yourself, you're in the right place. I'll be sharing all kinds of personal adventure stories, lessons I've learned from the mountains, teaching what I know about the outdoors and leadership, and interviewing some amazing adventurous women all along the way. I've been coaching women on becoming safe, confident, and self-sufficient backpackers and leaders of their own adventurous lives since 2018, and I know exactly what big fears and self-doubts can pop up along the way. I have so much to share with you, so let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. Today's episode is extra special because our flagship program for women to learn how to become safe, confident, and self-sufficient backpackers, the Backpacking Badass program, is officially open for our annual Black Friday enrollment. And I'm bringing one of my incredible clients on the show to show you what becomes possible when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and you finally decide you're going to do the damn thing. Okay, so today I want you to meet my client, Victoria. Now, Victoria joined the Backpacking Badass program actually during last year's Black Friday enrollment. So 2024 Black Friday enrollment. And at this point, when she joined the program, she had only been backpacking once in her entire life. She loved the outdoors, had grown up hiking and camping. She even married an Eagle Scout. But when it came to backpacking, she always found herself defaulting to other people, assumed that she needed some sort of secret wilderness knowledge, and kept telling herself that she wasn't brave enough to ever go alone. Then one day she heard herself say out loud, "Well, I can't go by myself, ... and immediately had the thought, wait, but what if I can? And that moment changed everything. So since joining the Backpacking Badass program, Victoria has gone from being a beginner backpacker to planning and leading a multi-night backpacking trip in the Eastern Sierras with her husband and actually teaching him a few things, to completing multiple solo backpacking trips in places like Yosemite, the Eastern Sierra, and even Zion National Park, to building a brand new identity as a brave, capable, self-sufficient backpacker who knows exactly how to plan, prepare, pivot, and trust herself. And all of that has happened, y'all, in less than a year, okay? So I just want you to see what could be possible for you. So in this episode, we're going to dive into her entire transformation from thinking backpacking was only for elite wilderness people to becoming the woman who confidently drives mountain roads that are gnarly, handles pre-trip mind drama like a pro, she makes bold decisions on the trail, and she is prioritizing adventure as her personal reset ritual. And since this episode is airing during our Black Friday enrollment week, I want to make sure that you know just a few things before we dive in. So enrollment for the Backpacking Badass program is officially open right now, y'all, until Friday, November 21st. It closes at midnight on Friday, November 21st. This is literally our biggest, juiciest enrollment of the entire year, with a huge discount on our program and some absolutely amazing bonuses. And you can go and join right now by going to shedreamsofalpine.com/Black Friday. Now, y'all, don't sleep on this. We only offer these Black Friday deals once a year. And this year, I'm more fired up than ever to get as many women as possible out on the trail. So if 2026 is the year you want to feel stronger, you want to feel braver, and you want to feel more self-sufficient outdoors, there is literally no better moment to lock it in than right now while our biggest deals of the year are live. So if you've been dreaming of becoming a confident, self-sufficient backpacker, if you want to go on your first trip, your first solo trip, or your first biggest adventure ever, if you want expert coaching, a step-by-step plan, and a community of over 1,900 women who genuinely get it and understand what you're going through and are on this journey with you, then this is your moment, okay? Go to shedreamsofalpine.com/Black Friday and check it out to get all the details and enroll and join us in having some amazing momentum so we can hit the ground running on January 1st. All right? So now let's dive into Victoria's story. You are absolutely going to love this one, and I cannot wait. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. And as I mentioned in our introduction, I have a guest from our Backpacking Badass community, Victoria. I'm so excited to have you here on the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so lucky to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to have you. Let's get started with a quick intro and give some people some background information. So, you actually joined our Backpacking Badass program about a year ago in 2024. And you were newer to backpacking, but were you already a little bit outdoorsy? Were you hiking already? Were you spending time outdoors before that? Like, give us a little bit of background of where you were.
Yeah, totally. The outdoors has always been kind of a part of my life, right?
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed hiking, camping to some degree, but always like in within sensible boundaries for a lady, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay.
But it just so happened that before I got into the backpacking badass program, I really, really turned up the notch on being outdoors.
Okay.
Really, really had gotten into it.
Where are you based out of? Just so people have a background of that.
So I'm in California. I'm in a city called Tehachapi, which is in the mountains to the east of Bakersfield.
I know
Um,
exactly where Tehachapi is. I used to have to work out there back when I was an engineer.
oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
I lived
cool.
in Bakersfield.
Oh yeah. Okay. Were you working on the windmills?
No, I was in engineering, so it's just like geosystems stuff, and so we had fields that we would go out to out there and stuff. So yeah, it's just funny. I just don't hear people mention Tehachapi very often. Like that's not a place most people mention. I actually didn't know that.
Sorry.
So did you grow up in California?
I did. I've grown up in California my whole life. I was in inland in Ontario for the first 13 years, but then I was on the coast over south of Santa Barbara for 30 years
Okay.
before we moved here in 2020 to Tehachapi, which for anybody who doesn't know is really in the mountains. I live pretty remote, up in the hills, and get to be really in an outdoor setting almost every single day of my life.
I love that. So did you like when you were growing up, was your family kind of into the outdoors? Did they like to go hiking? What was that kind of like?
Not really, not when I was a little kid. But we could see the San Gabriel Mountains from my front door. So it was always like a big like part of my childhood,
Uh-huh.
mountains and outdoor stuff. A little bit later, like when I was a teenager, is when I got more into it, when I had more opportunities for going hiking on my own, going camping. And then when I got together with my husband, who's an Eagle Scout, it
Okay.
became a much bigger part of my life. We had camping gear on our wedding registry, right? So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's something that we had done together and as a family.
Okay, this is really interesting. So you kind of grow up with a bit of a back country is the word I'm looking for, background. And the outdoors was part of your life already. And you married into marrying an Eagle Scout, which they have like a little bit more experience with the outdoors and like skills and stuff like that. Had you gone backpacking before you joined the Backpacking Badass program?
I did. I went backpacking one time before joining the Badass program. So
Okay.
in December of 2023, I decided that I wanted to have 13 adventures through the span of
Okay.
the rest of the year. So I
I
planned
love
out.
that. 13 is very specific.
Yeah, it was that month and then a complete year after that.
Oh, I
Yeah,
got you. Okay. I love
13
that.
adventures. So that was in my mind, epic hikes and camping. And that year I went skiing for the first time and we did snorkeling, like all kinds of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And what I had in my head was that backpacking would be a part of that, but I
Okay.
didn't know if I would like it. So we did like a test run in Joshua
Yeah.
Tree National Park. Boy Scout Trail is a pretty flat trail for the first mile. There's a little campsite that you can book. And so I did that with him, with my husband
Yeah.
overnight, just to see the stars and see if
Yeah.
I just make sure I didn't hate it before I got really invested in it.
Yeah.
And I
And
didn't hate it.
did he have backpacking experience?
He did. He had
Okay.
gone with the Boy Scouts for, quite quite a big part of
Yeah,
his
I,
life.
I don't know a ton about the Boy Scouts like journey and stuff, but I was like, I'm assuming they have backpacking
For
experience
sure.
for
Yeah,
some of their stuff.
for
Okay,
sure.
so you'd gone on one backpacking trip.
Yep.
And then what made you want, or like, what was that transition like? Okay, so you went one, you have this husband that's really outdoorsy. What made you want to kind of get into the backpacking badass program to learn more? Or like, kind of what's that journey look
That
like?
that was a whole thing. So I had these
Okay.
13 adventures that I wanted to go on, and life happened, and it got to a point where I was maybe like 6, 8 weeks out from the last adventure that I had. It had
Mhm.
just like they got canceled or just too much time. And so I was really dying to go camping.
Yeah.
And I couldn't make it happen, like with grown-ups, right? Trying to plan together with other
Yeah.
adults to make it
Yeah.
happen. It just didn't work.
It can be really challenging.
Yeah, for sure. And I had asked my husband, "Hey, can we go this weekend?" He said no for, very, very good reasons. And I heard myself say out loud, like, well, I can't go by myself. But then I was like, wait, but can I go by myself?
Yeah.
You
You're like, wait, is that just a thought?
Hold
Like,
on. Yeah, exactly. I started to imagine it, and that was a super mind-blowing moment for me that really
yeah.
actually changed a lot. Changed a lot for me personally and what happened over the next year. So I started going camping by myself,
Yes.
and then got really frustrated when, like, I would want to pick up and go camping, and Yosemite would say no, or Zion would say no, or whatever, because the campsites were full.
Oh, got
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and,
it can
and
be more
so
competitive to do car camping because a lot of times they're more reservation based.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Or you needed to do this 6 months ago, or
Yeah.
you needed to get into a lottery for the one that you really want to go to.
Especially out in
Um,
California. Yeah. You guys got a lot of permit stuff.
is that not everywhere?
I mean,
No.
it's a little bit different in some places, but yeah, it just depends on the area you're going. But I lived that life. I lived in California 7 years, so I do know. I relate.
So my journey to getting into the backpacking badass program was really very practical, and
Yeah.
it was a way to be able to go camping without having to get a reservation, right?
Yeah.
If the campsites were all full. But it was a little bit more. It was a little more spiritual than that too. It was like I had this real draw. Like the further I
Yeah.
could go into the wild or the backcountry, the closer I could get to the source of whatever magic I thought was waiting out there for me, right?
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, okay. So I know people are going to be thinking this in their head. So I'm curious to hear your answer on this. So this is something you knew you liked backpacking. So you had that one adventure with your husband, and then you had this epiphany like, okay, I want to learn how to go out by myself. But you do have this husband in your life that has experience backpacking. What was it that felt like? Because I get this because actually sometimes when I have my husband try to teach me something, I'm just like so frustrated by like the way he's doing it and he's not like relating to me and my personal fears. I'm just curious what was that for you? Was it a time thing or was it like a little bit of that or what was that?
Is a little similar, a little bit
Okay.
similar. And I'm not being shady towards my husband at
Oh,
all.
no, of course. Like
Yeah,
I think a lot of us women can relate to this. Like it's
yeah.
just
It's the
sometimes not the
communication.
same. Yeah.
It's the way I don't learn the same way that he likes to teach.
Yes.
And one of the things that really hooked me into camping solo, even car camping solo, was that I now had a place, right? I had a role in this
Yeah.
whole process where when we would go camping before, like kind of maybe I knew how to set up the tent or something, but I didn't know enough to be able to anticipate what needed to be done to really feel like, okay, I own this piece and
Yes.
I can contribute here.
Yeah.
And when it's just me, it's just me. And so knowing that I need all the information, I need to be able to anticipate, I need to have all of the foundational information, and that the way that we communicate, which is very good, is not the same.
Right.
But also, this was geared towards women.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really, that appealed to me really greatly because I didn't know what I didn't know. And if there was something that I did need to know as a female, right, some experience that I would have or might have as a female, my husband would never know that. So he'd
Right.
never be able to share it with me. Or maybe he would hold something back thinking that it wasn't for me. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
do know what you mean. And like sometimes I think about this with my journey with climbing. My husband and I like we met through climbing, and I was noticing for myself like it was hard for me to grow as a climber, and this is nothing to do with him, and it has everything to do with me, but I would like default to him taking the lead on climbs.
exactly.
And because he was a bit stronger of a climber than me. He hesitated a little bit less. He was like a little bit braver in some areas. So instead of me like learning how to lean into like, okay, yeah, I'm scared. Like now how do I want to handle this? I would like, oh, you put up the climb. Like you do
Mm.
it. And so I didn't grow very much. There was this point where we met each other and we were climbing a lot together and it was so fun. But then I like stopped growing as a climber because I kind of just kept letting him take the lead instead of me learning how to do that.
That's super well articulated. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally.
And so yeah, I think that like can happen for a lot of people. Like it that's one of my favorite things lately about climbing with other women is I find this desire inside of me to be an equal like participant in like being taking the lead, making the calls, like, you know, just being in the game in the arena a little bit more because I'm like, okay, I want to contribute like to this experience, you know, and not just be like leaning on them the entire time. So,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same with going for yourself. When you go by yourself, you need to like know how to handle situations. You need to know how to make safety calls, and you can't default to anyone else. You got to start to learn how to default to your own like internal self-trust and systems and knowledge and confidence.
Completely,
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, it's just you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so I want to dig into when you got into the program and your graduation trip, but before we get into your first backpacking trip, maybe we'll zoom in just a little bit. So, beyond your goal of going backpacking, and it sounds like your goal of going solo backpacking, what were were there any specific areas like you were really interested in growing in, that stood out to you?
Yeah, completely. There were two areas. The first one being knowledge. I didn't start backpacking until I was, how old am I now? I'm 48. Until I was 48 because I had this in my head that like you had to have some kind of like arcane inaccessible knowledge
Hmm.
in order to go and be in the wilderness, and that you had to
Yeah,
be
like you got to be
initiated.
Bear Grylls or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bear Grylls or initiated by some kind of like guru or level 7 backpacking
Yeah.
wizard or something like that. And so I really wanted to know what there was to know. And I knew that this course was going to offer it. Like, I want to know what there is to know. Spoiler alert, it's all very practical.
Yeah. You don't have to be Bear Grylls or a
Yeah.
guru, or you don't have to have the like the endless or courage of like Cheryl Strayed who just like went out and did it. And like I find that a little unrelatable too. Like she's just like, well, I'm just gonna throw myself in there, you know,
Do you
see what
know,
happens.
total sidebar, I live in Tehachapi, right, which is on kind of on the PCT. And
Yeah.
so in the hiking months when we have hikers around, I love to give rides to
Oh
people.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
trail angel. Yeah.
And I always am shocked when I find somebody who's like, "Oh yeah, I've never been hiking before. I'm doing the PCT." I'm like, "What?"
I'm I'm so shocked by that too. I mean, I always think that there's kind of two kinds of people. There's more people. This is very simplified, but in my head, I think about one of my best friends. Her name is Kara, and then I think about me. And I always I like to know what I don't know. I'm really like risk assessing. I like feeling like I've my bases covered. I like having a plan. Like I'm just very that's me. And then my friend Kara is she jumps in. She just goes head first. I can't do that as well as she does it. And I just think that those are different personality types and there's pros and cons to both, of course.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. So knowledge was one area I wanted to grow in. The other area that I wanted to grow in was endurance.
Okay. Nice.
Legitimately, I thought Well, let me back up and say I've been on hikes. I've been on 5 mile hikes. I've been on 7 mile hikes. I used to
Yeah.
do 18 to 20 mile walks, all very flat surface, right? So
Yeah.
I'm used to that, that going and going. But I legitimately thought that 200 feet of elevation was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of elevation. And I also, having had my first experience with my husband, thought that backpacks were supposed to be 40, 45 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So the idea of any kind of like 1,000 feet elevation with a huge backpack on my back was just crazy. And when I would see people talk about their 10 mile a day hikes, that felt like it was really so far out of my reach, right?
Mm,
These
yeah.
backpacking trips that were 10 miles a day. Or I watched one influencer who's super great who was talking about, oh, he has a really cruisy 25 miles today. I'm like,
I mean, I've honestly never, I don't think those words have ever come out of my mouth. A cruisy 25 miles, like that combo is still like even a flat 25 miles, I don't know if I would ever describe as cruisy, but you know, I get that.
exactly, exactly. So I really, that was another area that I wanted to grow in, was my endurance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I thought this must be something I can do.
And also just like growing that resume of experience so that when you like are looking at trips you want to do,
Mm,
you have like this touch point of like, oh, that's in my wheelhouse. Like that's a big part of backpacking, I think, is like being able to see a trail, its stats, and be like, do I really need to train for this because it's way outside of my league or comfort zone? Or is this in my wheelhouse? Do I feel good about it? Like just even having that kind of um, touch point with the different metrics and stuff is super helpful.
totally. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so you actually joined us. I mean, like, one reason I really wanted to talk to you is because it's like literally almost just a year ago.
Yeah.
So you joined us during Black Friday in 2024, and then it's from what I have written down on your information for your backpacking trip, you ended up going on your first, was it a solo backpacking trip?
No, it was with
Oh
my
no,
husband. Yeah.
it was with yeah, your husband. Oh, it was with your husband. That's right.
Yeah.
So you ended up doing that 6 months after.
Yeah.
So walk us through like how you picked your trail, what your trail was, and like kind of leading up into that, like the training plan and things like that.
Yeah, I ended up picking the Cottonwood Lakes Trail, and
I
I
love
I
that one.
didn't, as much as I read about it, I did not know what I was in for. It was unreal,
Yes,
unreal.
such a good one.
Yeah, well, I Googled a bunch of beginner backpacking hikes, and
Yeah,
this is on your list of beginner backpacking hikes as well. And I found that the total loop mileage
yeah,
sounded like it could be broken up into really like a stretch but achievable
yeah,
goals for me.
yes.
The elevation still seemed too high, but I was like, I'm gonna have to do it, right? Gonna have
Right.
to do it.
And that's
Um,
a good one for you to get a touch point on.
yeah,
Yeah.
it turned out to be the perfect first hike, or perfect first real backpacking experience. And I don't know if you watch Doctor Who, but they always tell you that, well, my friends always say that your first doctor is the one that you love. And so I have a feeling it's going to be the same with this trail. It's going to be
Oh
like
yeah.
my favorite for the rest of my life.
Okay, I
Um,
feel that so hard because like I've moved to Colorado and people are like, "How are you loving Colorado?" I'm like, "I like Colorado, but it's not the Eastern Sierras. Like it's the Eastern Sierras are my first love. Like it's where I cut my teeth. It's like where I became a mountaineer, a hiker, a backpacker. Like, so I get it.
And they're so unique and captivating too. The first time I was on the east side of the Eastern Sierras, I used to come from the west. The first time I
Yeah,
drove up the 395, I had to stop
so
in Lone
pretty.
Pine. I didn't know what I was looking at the time. It was Mount Whitney and Lone Pine Mountain, but I
Yeah,
was captivated. I was like captured and dragged in, and I couldn't stop looking at these. They're just
yes.
so freaking magical.
That drive is so pretty. Yeah, I love that area so much. So you
Totally.
picked it off you were kind of like looking at beginner trails. You picked it as a beginner trail. And then did you do any training to prepare for it?
I
Okay.
did. So I had this 6 months window, which was way too long. I recommend that if you're going to start training, do it much closer to
Yeah.
do it much closer to the event. The training plan was easy because I lifted the template straight from the course
Yeah.
and was able to plug everything in, and I made it really nice and gradual. But things fell apart after 8 weeks. I had international travel that
Yes.
I had to do for work. And one of them, I was able to go on like a nice guided 9 mile hike
Yeah.
during some downtime. But most of the time, it was like a week completely without any ability to train.
Yeah.
And then in May, I got COVID. And
Okay.
that was like
Your
the
trip
month,
was
June,
for June? Okay.
middle of June. So I went to middle of June and it was right at the beginning of May, I got COVID. I was truly down for a week and then bothered for the next few weeks about it, which played into that, pre-trip panic.
Anxiety,
Yeah,
pre-trip
mind
resistance.
FOMO,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the yeah, so if I were to do it again as structured as I did this past
Yes.
time, I would definitely start 6 to 8 weeks before, maybe even 12 weeks before, but
Yeah.
not
Yeah, there's certain trips you don't really need to start that far. Sometimes I tell people like if you have a really long time in between your when you set your goal and your trip, like sometimes it's helpful for people to put a consistency goal in and like oh, I'm just going to be like going out 3 times a week, but it's not really like you're not really like building up your training base necessarily, but you're just kind of like maintaining and you're keeping that habit of like getting outside and walking or getting on the treadmill. So that way when you start your training, it's like, okay, I have
yeah.
this habit like built in into my lifestyle. But to your point of like getting sick and all the things and lifing, like I just think that's so real and so part of it. And it's a big thing for a lot of people where they get that pre-trip anxiety and pre-trip resistance. So I'm curious, how did you work through it? Did you come to a coaching call on it? Did you just like find the thoughts in it for you? Like what was that thought process for you?
I got to watch a lot of coaching calls after the fact. So I'm
Yeah.
a recording watcher. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm a replay girl too. I love that.
Replay girl. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Let me take a sip of my water
Oh,
here.
go for it. No problem at all.
But the mindset module really helped me kind of get through it. Actually, I, in hindsight, realized that, and I think I might have covered that already. I realized that uh, I get this pre-trip anxiety before other trips too. And I
Oh,
had
yeah.
canceled things for sure, going like, oh, I got to leave on a Friday. I'm coming back on a Sunday. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm already exhausted. And then I got to work on Monday. Like, no, let's not do it. Right. And now
Yeah.
I think about that. I'm like, oh, that's the mind trauma. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
I
mind
do it
trauma.
all the time too. It's like without fail every single trip. And I'm like, oh, here it is again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
My old friend.
I had a few things come through, right? The COVID, I was just like, oh, I'm not in good enough shape. I haven't been out
Yeah.
hiking, walking, right? I've lost it. We also had, it was fire season, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, when isn't it fire season? But
Yeah. In California. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, and it was both my husband and I leaving. We're gonna leave our teenage children at home, and I was thinking like it's irresponsible to go and leave them.
Yes.
And what if there's an emergency? And then another really big one is that there is this road that you have to take to get up to the Cottonwood Lakes,
Oh, yeah.
the Horseshoe Meadow Road, which
I've
is
done that road many a
it's
times.
gnarly, and I was very, very scared about it. I was very scared. So for the first two, the COVID, the fire, potential fire danger, there were no fires in the area at the time.
Yeah.
I made a plan, right? I was able to say like, okay, here are my limits while I'm walking, while I'm backpacking, that if I really do feel like I'm physically unable, I'll just turn around. And
Yes.
for the fire thing, we worked with my neighbors and put together an emergency plan where they would essentially help evacuate my children and my goats, right?
Mm.
And make sure that everything was fine.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you had a plan for your on the ground, like home base area too with your kids. That's beautiful part of your safety plan.
Totally.
Yeah.
Um, and then with the Horseshoe Meadow Road, I just like just do
Yeah.
it. Like
What
just
did you think of the road when you actually did it?
my palms were sweaty. I was so nervous. I think I drove like 10 miles an hour the whole way up the switchbacks.
Yeah. It's just a
Um,
very for those who are like, what is this road like? It is paved, but it's very windy and it is like steep and exposed.
That's the thing, the
Yeah.
steep and exposed right on the side of the hill, and you
Yeah.
gain something like 8,000 feet, right, as you're going up it, which is different from some of the other ones where you got mountains on either side and I'm not looking off into some
Yeah,
deep valley
totally.
somewhere. So it was scary, but I did it. It was,
Yes.
yeah. totally
And
doable.
and you drove up there with your husband, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about your trip then. What did you, how many days were you doing it in? Like, yeah, give me some background.
It was 3 days backpacking with and 2 nights sleeping in the backcountry, but we went up the day before to sleep at the
Oh,
backpackers campground.
so smart.
Yeah, to acclimate. I have a real if I don't acclimate, I have a real problem
Oh, same.
with
Yeah.
altitude, and it tells me immediately, and it will ruin all my plans. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Same. I'm the exact same way. Yeah. So that's good. Okay, so did you go into like Cottonwood Lakes number like 3, 4, and then like pop over to like Long Lake, or like what was your loop like?
We went up to Muir Lake first,
Okay.
which is kind of like a little bit off the path when you're going up the Cottonwood Lakes trail,
Uh,
and it was like incredibly. I think we were the only people within like 5 miles for the whole night. It was nuts, and absolutely stunning, beautiful. And then the next day we walked to three, and
okay.
then did like a little side trip without our giant backpacks on to
Yes.
4 and 5 because it's up kind of a steep hill to get up there, and it was
Yes.
super buggy, so we weren't going to stick around too long, but we wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Um, and then we walked around like on the shore almost of Lake 3 that took us down to Lake 2.
Mhm.
And that was the most special place I've ever been in my entire life. I it
I'm
was
trying to remember like the where they're all placed again because there's
oh
like
yeah,
five lakes.
yeah.
So is
Six
that the
total. Yeah.
is Lake 3 and 4, is that the one that's by Old Army Pass? Do you remember looking up any
Four
of that
and five.
information?
So
Okay,
four and
4 and
five are
5.
up high by Old Army Pass, way above
Okay.
the tree line. Three is
Yes.
kind of big, just below four, and then
Yes.
2 and 1 are even lower than three.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all connected by a cool creek. But I hear there's like a sixth one too that you can climb up to, but no thanks.
Yeah. I have stayed at the ones by Old Army Pass, and I've also stayed at the one that is by New Army Pass, but I don't think it's called Cottonwood Lakes. I think those ones are like Long
Long
Lake.
Lake. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've done stuff on the other side of that pass. I for Soldier Lake, something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. But now you have so many more places you can go explore there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got a glimpse of Mount Langley, which is right there.
Yeah, it was there the whole time. I would love to go back and climb that.
Yeah.
That's the if I can clear some space in my summertime so that I
Yeah.
don't hit a ton of snow
Yeah,
or
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. Okay, so your husband came with you, but you said you mentioned to us in your graduation trip, like report, that it was a little bit of a different dynamic and different level of trip than y'all done before. So maybe talk us through how it was different before you joined the Backpacking Badass program, because you mentioned that you even taught him some things.
I did. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. In previous to this backpacking experience, like always, like I'd mentioned, I always deferred to him, right?
Yeah,
Always the deference. If I had a role, it was because he handed me something to do, right?
yeah.
And this time I did everything. I planned it. I put the safety plan together. I made sure that we had all the right gear and our bear canisters, and I planned our food, and I got the permits. I got everything. I did everything.
I love
And
that.
yeah, it was pretty neat. He was really just along for the experience.
Did
Um,
he try to chime in at any times, or was he just
nope,
yep, you did
not at all.
totally
The day
nice. That's great.
yeah, he showed up. I kind of bugged him about training for it too. Like, are you out there training? You gotta make sure
Oh,
that
I
you're
need you to make sure you can keep up with me. Come on.
nope, fine, totally good. And he was totally good,
Yeah.
along for everything. Now, after I picked Cottonwood Lakes, it was a little bit crestfallen because he told me like, oh, I did that already with the Boy Scouts. And I was like, oh, dang, I really wanted it to be like, new for
Yeah.
both of us. But it turned out that whatever he remembered from his trip with the Boy Scouts was not what we experienced, right? We were both
Yeah.
just awestruck
Yeah.
through this whole trip. And I was able to teach him a few things. So
Yeah.
there were some pieces of life that were related to Leave No Trace, right?
Hmm.
That he wasn't completely aware of. Like, oh, we can't camp here. It's not 100 feet from the water, or it's not on
Right.
a durable surface. But the biggest thing was the water filter, right? So I had this modern, super light water filter that you just squeeze water out of.
Yeah.
And I went to go check it out. It's in our garage. He used to carry around this giant, heavy, heavy pump. I should have weighed it.
Yeah.
That was just kind of a pain to do. And he was mind blown and so excited about just like, we can filter water anytime. Yeah,
What, 4 ounces?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have gone backpacking. Like I've had some friends when I lived out in California, like sometimes the only people I could get to go with me were like some of the engineering guys that I worked with. And some of them were like former Boy Scouts too. And their packs. And I think it's just like, they teach them really great information in those trainings too. But some of their gear stuff is like too much or like bulky or heavy or like some of them my friend even had like a frame backpack and there was like new gear and I remember going through his kit with him and I'm being like you don't need this like we can just optimize to this and then he became this one trip we went out together and I was like how heavy is your pack and he told me it was like high 40s or like just under 50 and I was like bro like let's work on this like your life will be you'll enjoy it so much more and after that trip when we went through everything he became the most ultralight nerd after
Oh no.
like he went
Yeah, that's
hardcore the
awesome.
other direction like I
Yeah.
couldn't even follow I was like you're going way he sleeps in a bivy like
Pendulum swung the other
yeah
way.
he went hardcore the other direction but yeah I love that because I mean we can sometimes get like stuck in our ways from like the way we had done it and then it's fun to see like how other people are learning it too so that's really neat.
Another cool thing that came from that experience, and I think of me leading that, is
Yeah.
now when I want to go solo, like, he doesn't give me flack about it. Do you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
he's supportive. Nervous, scared, made me
Right.
promise to, do things like not pick up hitchhikers.
Like he's seeing you in your element and like
Yeah.
leading and like being fully capable and have planned this whole trip. I love that.
Yeah.
I also think it's so fun. Like my husband isn't into backpacking as much as I am. But he will always go if I'm willing to like put the whole thing together. Like if I just, do the heavy lifting and like trip planning and that's how I remember I convinced him to do the JMT with me because I really wanted to hike the John Muir Trail when we had quit our jobs and we finally had time. And he was like, "Oh, I never really thought about doing that." I was like, "Listen, don't even worry. I'm gonna plan it all. I'll put all the meal plans together and the trip plan, and I had it all planned. And I was like, you just have to show up. And he was like, okay. And well, and obviously he has to hike it, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it made it like it made him a hell yes for him. It was like an offer he couldn't refuse. So it's like that's nice too. And when you have those own skills, you're like you can eventually convince people to like be bought in on your plan. You're like, okay, listen, I got you. No worries. Like, don't stress.
I'm working on my other friends now. Yeah.
Yes.
And we're going, so I think you could do this. I have all the gear. We can do it. I'll
I
plan it.
have the permits already.
Yeah.
I have extra gear for you. That's how I got some of my good friends into backpacking. I was like, listen, just show up. I'll make it the best. Like we'll have so much fun. Yes, I love that. So, okay. I have in my notes here that like from your graduation trip story that on day one you were hiking with a big smile, but you hit a big wall or you hit a wall of frustration.
Hmm.
What caused your mood crash and how did you get through it?
This is a good question. I think that what actually chemically caused it was I was just out of adrenaline, right? Out of
Yeah.
adrenaline. I We had gotten to Muir Lake after 5 miles, and those giant granite steps. Like, who makes those? I don't know who makes those.
Oh
I'd
no,
like
we
to
need to
talk to
like
them.
file a complaint.
Right, exactly. Um, and I was depleted. I was exhausted, and it was cold, and it was so windy, and there were so many mosquitoes, which was really impressive because it was windy, and they persevered. They knew.
Yeah, those mosquitoes out there can be large, especially that time of the year.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
So, all of the right ingredients to make me like really cranky.
Yeah.
But I was able to recognize that it was a feeling and not a fact.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that I was like, okay, yeah, this is the This is the other 50 of the 50-50 when you talk
Yes.
about life being 50-50, which is so such a helpful thing to remember.
Yeah.
That it made me like I didn't have to take it quite so seriously, and I didn't get quite
Right.
as
Nothing has gone wrong. Like
exactly.
it's just a low point, and maybe I need a snack and to put my bug net on my head and
Okay,
some like a down
that
jacket.
yeah, that is another thing, a snack. Like so do not I is something that I've learned for myself is if I am feeling cranky, it might be hanger, right?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
might be hangry. I should have a snack. And things were much better after having snacks, but we really struggled to find the right spot there at the lake. We even set everything up at one point, and then when we finally went to go like guy out our rain fly, there wasn't enough room between rocks on the sides, and we were just like sitting there completely exhausted with a fully erect tent, but knowing that we had to move it, and we're just like, what do we do now? We did
Yeah.
it. We took it down. We found another spot, and eventually it was all good. But it was
Yeah, it can be tough when you're super tired at the end of the day, like for sure. And
mhm.
you're getting near dinner time and you're getting like your energy is depleted and you've given it your all and it's like all the things happen at once. I
Yeah.
totally get that. Okay, that's great. In your graduation story, you said the mental part really is a bigger aspect of backpacking than I realized. And if I didn't know that up front, I wouldn't have made it as far as I did. So, how did the program help you manage those expectations before the trip? And why do you think it helped you take action?
Yeah, I didn't realize, I guess I've never really paid attention too much to how
Yeah,
much was going on in my head.
yeah,
And would always just kind of take it as like oh, this is how I am right now, right? I'm
yeah.
feeling frustrated, I'm feeling bad, or I'm scared, or I'm telling myself that I can't do it, right? It just is in the moment.
Almost like an identity, like this is
Yeah,
who I
that's
am.
a
Yeah,
great way to put it.
yeah,
Exactly. And so that absolute awareness of all the kinds of things that could come up while I was on the trail
yeah,
was just that preparation was invaluable,
yeah,
invaluable. Because I could
yeah.
just be like, okay, thank you, bye.
You're like, all right, great. I'm complaining. I'm like, okay. Like, this is what happens when I'm tired. Like,
Yeah.
hello, friend, the discomfort and stuff like that. Yeah, I love that. Um, okay, so what parts of the Backpacking Badass program helped you the most in preparing for leading a backpacking trip?
For leading the mindset module absolutely was incredibly helpful. But I am a prepper, I am a planner, not like a
Girl,
doomsday
same.
prepper, but a planner. I like plan everything to the T. And so all of the tools for planning, for being for the preparation,
Yeah.
like I mean that's basically the whole thing, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, but like having a structure to it, like I love having even like I use my own templates. Like it's just nice. You're like, okay, I can follow
Yep.
this. I don't have to worry about forgetting something. Like I'm just going to follow the plan, make the
Yep.
plan, and then have it.
And being able to articulate the all of the elements and knowing how to plan something, right? So what is the mileage each day? What is the longest mileage? What is the highest
Uh,
elevation? What is the weather going to be like, right?
yeah.
All the things to think about in advance. That was, yeah, definitely the most helpful part.
Yeah, you guys went in June, which is kind of like early season. So you could have had weather go any kind of direction for you
Hmm.
in that. And even snow, you could have had issues with snow getting in. Was that something you were concerned about?
Yep.
Or, yeah.
Yep. Every day, every day I
Yeah.
would check, I'd be like, I don't know if this is real or not. I'm still trying to find the right, like reliable weather.
Yeah.
Um, predictor for different trips because they can be very wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
But I was concerned about it. We didn't run into any bad weather though. The sky was impossibly blue and just phenomenal. The wind was awful. And the temperatures got real low. It got below freezing a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah. I would imagine that time of the year it can
Yeah.
get quite cold.
And there
Yeah.
was still snow on the ground, but nothing we had to put our micro spikes on for.
Yeah. Oh, did you bring some with you?
We did. They're heavy though. I won't do
Yeah, I
that
mean,
again
like
necessary again.
it can be smart if you are expecting snow so you don't have to turn around, and that way you have that peace of mind. But like there are certain seasons when you definitely don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm impressed too. Also, you had to navigate, was doing the permit system the first time you had ever done like dealt with the backpacking permit system when you did this trip?
So I did deal a little bit with the Joshua Tree backpacking
Okay.
permit system, but that's like cheating. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so easy. You go pick your campsite. If it's available, you get it, right?
Yeah.
But this was the first time where I had to like log in at 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 months
Yeah.
before I wanted to leave, and get all the things in there. And another thing that I find really strange, but I guess is helpful somewhere, is the having to say where you're going to camp each night.
Yeah.
That was the first time I had experienced that. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to put here. I have no idea. Figured it
Yeah.
out, but yeah,
And for your future reference, in the Eastern Sierras, a lot of times it's more like give your best guess and you can change it if your plan changes later. But in places like Colorado, like there are some places where you have to like legitimately your permit is for a very specific backcountry site. And that's been like a new learning curve for me too, is like every permit system is quite different. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Zion is like that where you get a specific, we book a specific site, and some of them you can book online, some of them you have to go into the ranger station to get it.
Yeah.
And so that was, I don't know, there was something, I liked the predictability of that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
where yeah, yeah, it can be nice in some regards. So you're like, okay, I know I'm gonna find a campsite. But it's funny because like I'm so used to the way it is in Inyo National Forest where it's like you can camp literally anywhere.
yeah.
Like as long as it's, leave no trace kind of principles. Like I kind of love that flexibility. So sometimes when I'm like confined to picking a spot, I'm like, what is this? That's so
Yeah.
restrictive. So, okay, you mentioned Zion. So does that mean, so after this trip, have you done more trips? You got to do a solo, right?
I have everything that I've done since is solo. Yeah,
Okay,
been
tell me more
solo.
about that.
I did a solo trip in Yosemite. It was a one night, the hardest one that I've done so far. It
Okay.
was
Which trip
gnarly.
was that?
I did the Pahono Trail from Glacier Point to Dewey Point.
I feel like I remember this story in the
Yeah,
group.
and it was
Yes.
2,000 feet of elevation across like 8 miles, and
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
ways, because it was up and down, up and down.
Uphill
Um,
both ways,
uh-huh.
literally.
Exactly. There was a point on the second day where I was just ready to just I live here now. This is it. I can't go any
Yeah.
further. I was rethinking like, why do I love this? I don't get it.
Yes.
But
We
then I
all
made
have
it back
that
to my
moment.
car.
Are you
Yeah.
even backpacking if you don't question why you're backpacking? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And then I did a trip up to Treasure Lake,
Yes.
and
Okay.
which was stunning. But I ended up setting up my tent and then turning it back down and heading back out. There was just too many things went wrong, and the vibe was off, and
Oh, okay.
I had to bail.
I
Um,
like love that example though, because I feel like that gives people a lot of permission to be like, sometimes you just make gut decisions. I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it. Like, I'm heading out.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I got to the point where I was like, that's it, I think I had counted like six things had gone wrong. I realized that really the first thing that had gone wrong was what set it in my head that this was not the trip for me, not
Yeah.
this time. But I needed a little bit more evidence before I was ready to just completely call it. Learned a lot on that trip. And then
I
I
was
just
gonna say, like, what were your thoughts about like turning around on that trip? Because I feel like that those kinds of experiences are the ones that are like really build the self-trust in you. You're like, oh, I really trust myself to like, I just know I'm gonna take care of myself if like I don't if something feels wrong or something goes wrong or whatever. I'm
yeah.
curious, yeah, what it was like for you.
Yeah, it was really, I was really divided about it because I
Yeah.
was very tired. I
Hmm.
was out of water, and I thought my water filter was broken. That was the last thing that went wrong, but it turns out you got to soak it for 30 minutes before it'll work. And so I didn't have any water left, but I knew I was going to be miserable all night, and I didn't want to, but I also knew that it would not be any kind of experience that I would like, and really needed to just head back. And
Yeah.
so we did. So I turned around, packed up, head back. cursed a lot of the way.
Yeah.
I was so tired and exhausted.
But
But
you like assessed that from a safety level. Like I don't know if if you've reflected on this, but it sounds like you've assessed it from a safety level, your limit, and you made like the confident, bold choice to be like, I'm going back. And I
yeah,
just think that's so powerful because I think it helps future trips, even ones that are outside of your comfort zone, you kind of realize like, no, I can trust myself to like make the right call for me.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was important for me to listen to myself. Like I know that I had decided that I wanted to turn back.
Right.
And I could think of every reason why I shouldn't. I didn't have water. I could have boiled some water. I had iodine
Yeah.
pots. Like I could have made myself some water, but like
Yes.
didn't have it. There were a few of other things that just weren't. Oh, I forgot. I brought the wrong charger and my phone was gonna die.
Mm.
And but what had actually happened when I first got there was I ran into some other backpackers who offered me their site, but then just like lingered too long and asked too many questions. And one of them said something like, "Oh, I see you don't have like an emergency satellite device on you. And are you using your iPhone? How are you connecting? What happens? What are you going to do if you're in danger and you need to reach out to someone?" And that just like, that
It's like
still
just
gives me
not
the
the vibes you
creepy.
want when you're out there solo.
100%,
Right.
100%. Like these questions are too, like maybe you're being
Like,
really curious and helpful right now, but you don't know how creepy you're being.
yeah.
Um, and I genuinely would have been awake all night thinking like, are those footsteps? Are these people coming back through? Right? I would have, it would not have been okay.
And
No.
then sometimes you just have to like be like, you know what? It just like doesn't feel right for me right now. And I'm like, I love that is just I just feel like that's such an empowering choice and place to be in is like you make that choice for yourself and then you're just like, I'm fully behind my choice and I'm turning around. And like that's super empowering.
It was good for me to know that I will make those decisions too.
Yes,
I'm not just
exactly.
gonna like stick it out no matter what. And I drove to Bishop and got a motel room and ate some El Pollo Loco and slept, and it was great. It was
Yeah, I love that. So did you go on another trip after that, you were
I
saying?
did. So
Okay.
I went to Zion just last week. It was my longest trip, solo trip so far, 3 days, 2 nights, and not the farthest that I've walked into the wilderness, but it felt the most remote. I only
Yeah.
saw maybe 12 people on that trail. And it was amazing. I had like it's how I reset now.
I love
And if you time your backpacking trips close enough together, you don't have to train.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to
Oh,
prepare for
exactly. Like you're in the momentum like of your body feeling strong and your lungs feeling strong and all of those things, of
yeah.
course.
Yep, but we're coming into winter, so I don't know how many more I'm gonna get underneath me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're in California, so you can like stretch that season if you're really motivated to. There's some things you can do in the off season, but yeah. Um, that's amazing. So you did that first trip and it sounds like you've just been kind of running with it. Like,
Mhm.
did you kind of expect that when you went into this year? Were you like, okay, I want to go on like X trips, or like did it just the momentum kind of keep
No,
inspiring you?
I knew that I would learn about more trips that I wanted to go on,
Yeah.
but I didn't know that I would get so hooked.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know that I would get so hooked on it, and I really, really did. And after that first solo trip that I did in Yosemite, I mean, grew a tremendous amount from that. I've got this like new identity as like a brave person.
Yes.
I'm a brave person, and so
Right.
I can, do these things that are, hard, and I want to do more and more and more of them.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that because it's so like it's just a moment. It's like sometimes we're just like, oh, I'm not this kind of person. Like I remember very clearly being like, I'm not an outdoorsy person. Like I'm just not that type of girl who's like very adventurous or like takes these really big risks or is, brave. Like I never identified as that. But then like that very first backpacking trip I ever went on and I was like, wait, am I wrong about everything? Like,
Yeah.
maybe I can be this person. Like this was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but like that's not so scary. I think I used to think it was just going to be too terrifying to like step into that identity of being somebody who could do these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just get kind of addicted to it. You're like,
I
oh
think
yeah,
I think that's where I'm at right now. Yeah.
I love that. Um, so okay, let me look at some of the other questions that I had. Well, okay, I'm curious. So we've heard a lot about your growth, and what are you kind of like identifying now? Like after you've done a good job of like you did your first trip, and then you've like kind of built on that momentum, and like growth areas I'm sure have kind of revealed themselves. Is there anything that you're thinking about right now that you're like, oh, I want to work on this piece. I want to feel more confident in this piece, or are you just more thinking, I want to give myself more kinds and types of experiences? Like, where
Mm-hmm.
are you at right now with that?
I am still working on endurance.
Yeah.
It's still a thing. I before I had even though gone on my first backpacking trip, I completely fell head over heels for the idea of hiking the John Muir Trail. So
Oh,
I'm
love
I'm
it.
going to do the JMT. And so the fantasy up until now has been I'm going to do the JMT, but forget Whitney. There's no way. No way I can
Oh,
do
oh
that.
my gosh, you can totally do Whitney.
I'm kind of afraid of heights.
Okay, well, we'll do we can coach on that later if
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm though now right now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, no, I'm gonna do it. I can do it. I oh and I joined the rock climbing
Oh,
thing
yes. Oh,
up in
yes, I
Yosemite.
saw you sign up for that. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
I signed
Oh,
up
that
for
would
that.
be great. That's like a
Yeah.
good, touch point into like exploring your fear of heights.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I worked with my little AI friend to put together a training plan that'll help me with my grip strength and to
love
get
it.
because climbing and heights is something that I've always thought like 100% not for me.
Yeah.
100% not for me. Like I had a
Yes.
hard time driving up a paved road to get to
Yeah.
a trailhead. And so everything else was like, no way, no way. And so now I'm at this point where I'm like, what if? What?
Yeah.
Maybe that is for me. We'll see. I can
Yes. I
try it.
love it. Like the curiosity really opens us up to things. And I do that like I remember being the same way with my driving too. Like I was never really like so scared of heights, but there are certain things that you're like, this is scary. Or like, what if I get like trapped here or like my car gets abandoned here? Like, and you just have to take it like one little piece at a time. And you're just like, okay, I survived that. Okay, I survived that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, I did that. And like, then it starts to like expand your resume of like scary things and you start to normalize it a little bit more and build that like nervous system calmness, I guess, in those
Mhm.
situations. That's
Exposure
fun.
therapy, right? Yeah.
I am so excited. Oh, I'm really excited to like I forgot that you signed up for that climbing trip. That will be a really fun place to explore that with you. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yes, you can totally do Mount Whitney. I 100% think you can.
The the problem with living so close to Mount Whitney is that I know every single time there's an accident or an issue or something like that,
Oh,
right? And that
don't overhype into those. A lot of those are like so avoidable. So many people go out and do Whitney in a season where it's like too much snow or there's ice on the ground or they're, not using those self-trust systems that you have been building where you're like, oh, I don't feel good or I'm experiencing altitude and they get summit
mm,
fever and they're just like making poor decisions, but you're already building like such a great foundation for like knowing when to call it and knowing when you got it, you know?
that is yeah, thank you. That
Yeah.
encouragement is
And the backside, which you can approach and probably will approach, whether you go southbound or if you if you
north.
come from below Whitney,
Hmm.
you can approach it from the backside,
Yeah.
and
That's
it's so much easier.
I'm gonna go northbound from Cottonwood Pass,
Yes. That's
and
what I did.
back up from like the Guitar Lake
And you
area.
can like leave your base camp and you can take a small pack and go to the summit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's only 3,000. I mean, 3,000 feet of gain is still a lot, but like
It's still
with your day pack, it's way easier than from the front side. We just went on like a podcast side tangent here, but I just think, yeah, I remember talking to my friend Ashima We did the West Highland Way. And you guys know that I'm a big proponent of like being researched and well informed, but there is this point sometimes where we like read in too much, like hear
Mhm.
too many stories. The news and like Facebook, for whatever reason, because I'm getting all of this stuff on Facebook too, just likes to feed you all the disaster stories, like hiker dies on this and
Mhm.
this crazy like thing that happens. And it's such a small percentage and it's so out of context sometimes. And sometimes they're just literally freak accidents, like somebody has a heart attack or something like just tragic happens. But it doesn't mean that that's going to be your experience. And but it's hard because our brains really like to pay attention to danger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so it will just feed off of that. And so you have to back off of reading some of those stories sometimes.
That's some good advice. Yeah.
Right. It's like that fine balance of well informed, but not like scaring yourself too much. But okay, so one thing that I like to do with all of our podcast guests is some fun rapid fire questions. So this is just a way to get to know you a little bit better and people kind of learn something and maybe they discover something that they didn't really think of. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So what is your go-to trail snack?
Oh, it's apple slices. I don't eat those in
Fresh?
real life. Yeah. Well,
Oh, wow.
I've only gone 3 days so far and they stay fresh that long when it's cold outside.
Love
But
it.
yeah, I don't eat them in real life, but I love them on the trail. Love.
Oh my gosh, I love like a backcountry charcuterie. So like fresh fruits or like cheese and
Yeah.
like nuts. Oh, it's the
Yep. A
best.
little bit of apple slices, a Gouda, and like a meat bar. Yep.
So perfect. Yeah. Okay. What is so far your favorite piece of gear that you couldn't live without?
I'm such a gear nerd. This
Okay.
is a really hard question. I said three-way tie. It's ladies, the P style, like the P style. This is
That's
the
like where you can pee standing up. It's like
Yeah.
a
Oh, game changer.
oh nice. I like that you like that. I'm always on the fence with backpacking trips and never bring it, but I love it for the van.
Oh, it's fantastic. You put it on a retractable cord too,
Mhm.
on your pack or something. You don't ever have to take off your pack. It's the best.
Yeah. Did you practice a lot at home before you started using it?
Not as much as I should have.
You risked it all.
I did. Not as much as I should have, but there's no way that it could have been any worse than me going free, right? Just popping a squat. There's no way it
Oh
could have
yeah.
been
I
that.
mean, that's true. Like both have their their challenges.
Yeah. That one is tied with my Twister Cane Biofoam seat pad from Big Agnes, and
Okay.
it makes it so I can kneel on the ground, sit. I'll put it under my hips if I'm having a problem sleeping at night. It's just indispensable.
Say this again. Twist a
Oh,
cane.
Twister Cane Biofoam.
Okay. I'm
Twister
gonna have to
Cane.
look it up. I don't know this one.
It's just like a green pad that's made out of some kind of like bio or organic foam,
Mhm.
which means though that the mice will eat it if you keep it in a place where they can get it. So you
Oh,
gotta
gotcha.
store it, yeah, someplace else, someplace where there's no mice. Um, and it's just a little sitting pad, and it's my favorite, and it weighs almost nothing.
That's great. I love it. I haven't heard of that one specifically. And what's the third one?
Is my shoes, my shoes. I have 6 pairs of the same shoes right now because I love
What
them
is
so much.
people are dying to know what are the shoes that you love to
They're out. They don't make them anymore. They are Merrell's and they're Antora 3 mid waterproof. And so they're
Ah.
not
So
low
you
top,
stocked up, you're like, I need this for life.
100%. Yeah. Or as at least, what did they last me like 6 months? So
Yeah, at least the next couple of years.
2 years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Is it like a boot or is it like a trail runner?
It's a trail runner boot. Mhm.
Okay, trail runner boot. Yeah. I kind of am in the same. I mean, not so like a very specific one that's out of they don't make anymore, but like I like the Ultra Lone Peaks. Like I found like once you find the shoe that really works for your foot and like comfort level and what you like it's hard to pick a different one. Like so that's I this is what I always tell people. People always ask me like what do I recommend for shoes? And I'm like, it really depends, like on the person, on some of your preferences. Like, I will give you my thoughts, but like everyone, like Victoria has a very solid, like all in choice on her shoe, and it's different than mine. And that's like beautiful. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. So, what is a hike that you want to? Oh, I mean, we might have already touched on this, but what's a hike you want to do that's kind of scary but thrilling to think about doing?
Yeah, absolutely. The John Muir Trail. Like I set a goal to think about it at least every day until I do it. Um,
Oh, do
yeah,
you think you know when you might want to set your sights on it?
heck yeah, yeah. July 2027.
Okay.
My summer next year was all booked up already. I have a kid who's graduating high school, and so I can't be away for a month. But the next year is open, and I also happen to turn 50 that year. So how
Oh,
cool.
I think that would be so cool. Do you think you'll do it solo, or you're up in the air on like whether it be a solo or not?
I am planning to do it solo, but I am open to I'm open to like if somebody came along and said, "Hey, I'd like to do that too." I'm like,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Um, and my husband right now is also very supportive. He's just like, "Okay, I'll hike in with your resupplies and meet you. You know, you tell me
Oh,
where
that
to
would be
meet you,
so
and
fun.
I'll do it." I was like, "Okay, that sounds great," because somebody's
Yeah.
got to stay back and watch the goats.
I love it. Oh, I'm kind of the same sometimes too. I'm like, so I'm gonna do this thing. If you can stay and watch Ollie, we switch off on adventures. Like Ollie's my puppy. But so fun. And also stay tuned because we have plans to like do something around through hiking to support you guys. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
But that's a secret for now, but it will be in time for your trip. Um, okay. Trail. Oh, we kind of already touched on this too. We got ahead of ourselves. Trail sneakers or hiking boots? You're kind of like a
The
combo.
combo, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
combo.
Okay, and then this question, would you rather never have to filter water again or never get blisters again?
You know, neither one is a pain in the behind for me. So I would say maybe filtering water, like maybe if I never filter water again, that would be fine. I don't
Yeah.
really get blisters, maybe because I have awesome shoes. I don't
Yeah.
know. But if you were to tell me, if you were to ask me if I would rather never get cold at night or never get winded on the trail, that would be the one that I don't know
Ooh.
how I would answer it. Like
Oh,
too
well,
hard to too hard to choose.
too hard to pick.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm
How
like,
about
what would
you?
I pick? I feel like the winded one though is like something you can really work towards, and getting cold sometimes is like hard to avoid.
So that's so hard to avoid. Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes it's out of your hands, it's out of your control. Okay. So before we officially close things up for this interview, I do just have a few more questions. Like, what's next for you, adventure backpacking wise, beyond like the JMT in 2027? But where are you, like, what are you thinking about next? And how are you feeling about 2026? Like, what's kind of your vision for it, if you've thought about it at all?
I've definitely thought about it. I can't stop thinking about it, actually. So everything that I've kind of planned in my mind is preparing me for the JMT in 2027. There are parts
Okay.
of the
Oh, I
Sierras that I
love
want
it.
to get
It's like
back to.
training ground.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I have an opportunity to go to Austria in December.
Oh, fun. This
And I will
December.
this December. So, oh yeah, that's like 4 weeks from now.
That's like
And
very soon.
yeah. And going to try and exercise a little bit of my bravery around heights there.
Oh,
Won't be
love it.
backpacking. It just doesn't, it's not the right time of the year for it, but
Yeah,
definitely snowshoeing and long hikes up there.
super fun.
Very looking forward to it. And
Cool.
then I said already climbing, trying to get into that
Yes.
mindset of I can do high things too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. 2026 is going to be fun. Um, okay. And final thing, what would you say to somebody who wants to start backpacking, but maybe feels a little bit nervous about it, a little bit anxious, has a lot of like what ifs kind of rolling around in their mind?
Yes. Yeah. What I would say is parse the stories from the facts, right? And then dismiss the stories and deal with the facts. Come up with a plan to deal with the facts, but just tell recognize the stories that you're telling yourself and change it or think it and wave goodbye.
Yeah. Do you have an example of that from like what you did?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about the mind drama, right, before the pre-trip, right, there was I was creating this story of what if there's a fire and I'll be this irresponsible mom, right?
Oh,
Well, the
yeah.
fact is there was no fire and
Yeah.
I could there wasn't yet, right? And I could make a plan to deal with
Right.
it, right?
Yeah.
Separate those facts and stories.
That's so true. Like I remember doing something very similar with our JMT hike. There were all these fires around us in California, but it hadn't really affected the trail yet. But I was like doomsdaying it in my head and going to the dark place already. I was like, oh my gosh, our trip is ruined. Everything is ruined. This is like horribly unsafe. And I remember having to have this moment where I was just like, wait, everything is actually fine right now. And I'm doing all the things to be like, smart about it. I have a safety contact who's going to keep us in touch if the fires move. We can literally just drive up to the trailhead, see how it is smoke wise, because we were worried about the smoke, and like take it literally day by day. Like we don't have to I don't have to know exactly how it ends, like just be in the present moment and really just be like, okay, I'm fine right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that's such good parting wisdom. So thank you so much, Victoria. I loved like hearing a little bit more of your story and kind of getting to piece the whole journey together because we see your posts inside the Facebook group community and get to like hear the bits in there, but like now I'm kind of like visualizing it all over a summer. So it was really fun and appreciate you so much for sharing your story with other people here on the podcast.
Oh my gosh, thank you for this opportunity and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. All right. That is all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, I wanted to thank you real quick for tuning into the show and listening all the way to the end. If you love this episode and you want deeper support in becoming a safe, confident, and self-sufficient hiker and backpacker, then head over to shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist to learn more about our Backpacking Badass coaching program, where I teach you absolutely everything you need to know to be self-reliant on the trails and stop waiting around on others for the adventure invite. So I'd love to help you more in your journey of stepping into your adventurous identity, and that program is the absolute best place for us to start working together. So again, that's shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist, and you can learn all about it there. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you get to spend some time outside this week, and I'll be back very soon with a brand new episode. Bye.